Hi, YouTube.
Hey guys,
Welcome back to
Mad
Mad
Mix.
Mix.
I'm your host, Mary.
And Tiara. Welcome back to another episode.
We're out. The
We're
sun.
back, of course, back in the sun. Another beautiful, beautiful, hot, swirling
The natural
summer
sauna.
of Texas. But getting that vitamin D,
Yeah.
getting that vitamin
It
D,
has to be.
melting all my vitamin E. But we would only do it for you. So, without further ado, let's jump into today's show.
It sucks to be really pretty. Everyone talks about pretty privilege, but there are so many disadvantages to being really gorgeous. Now, I'm not saying this qualifies to me. This is just some of the observations I've had and a little bit of research I've done. Pretty women are never taken seriously. Society tells us you can't be both beautiful and smart. Statistics show that beautiful women are frequently passed over for jobs and not considered for promotions. What's interesting too is their medical issues are often dismissed or not taken seriously, and they have a hard time getting the treatment that they need. This is because we naturally associate good looks with health. Really, really good looking people often struggle mentally. Because they're often reduced to just their looks as opposed to being praised for their intelligence or skill set, really pretty people tend to tie their worth into their beauty. In turn, they have a very difficult time accepting when they start to age and they feel like their beauty is fading. Studies show models who are often held up as the epitome of beauty have a higher chance of mental health issues and report a lower life satisfaction. Being gorgeous can be a huge social barrier. Pretty girls are assumed to be stuck up or unapproachable. And far too often, other girls will bully or isolate them out of their own jealousy and insecurity. And the reality is that gorgeous women don't get approached by men as often as more average looking people because men assume they're out of their league. When you're really pretty, you're also more likely to be objectified. A girl on TikTok shared her stories that when she would go out, people felt entitled to her. They would grab her and touch her without asking, but when she wore grubby clothes and no makeup, this wouldn't happen.
Y'all gonna be mad at me if I say the post where people be like, what's the downside to being pretty is misogynistic, fueled by self-centered women. There's no downside to being pretty, baby. That happens to most, if not all women. You're not the only one. Okay? They be in the comments like, we get sexualized. Most women do. Men think we're dumb. Men think a lot of women are dumb. Ugly, pretty or not, they think you're dumb. They think we're airheads, baby. Welcome to being a woman. Shut up.
You know what? There's a couple trends on TikTok that I don't do. And I'm going to tell you the two. The one where you put on the aged filter and, well, actually, it's three things I won't do. But the first one is the aged filter thing where I don't look my age. And then I wouldn't do the one where I've been with my man for 10 years, no ring. And then the third one that I won't do is insert myself on some, I need to make an opinion about me having pretty privilege and other people not understanding what it's like to be so pretty. Why do you guys do this to yourself? Why? And again, it's okay to disagree with someone's point. If you believe that there are some downsides to pretty privilege, it's okay to disagree with that point, but come back with a video that's highlighting why you think that. What would possess you to stitch her video and then say, yeah, you don't understand how it feels for us to be pretty because you're not pretty. Girl, you just proved her point.
The downside to pretty privilege. Let's talk about it. So first thing I want to say is I'm going to tell you who I wish was on this app to handle this topic. Lip gloss. If y'all remember lip gloss, she would have tore this topic all up. I mean, she would have did it justice. I miss her. I wish she was on here to handle this topic. However, there is no downside to pretty privilege like the girls are saying. It's not. And the girls who truly benefit from pretty privilege, they not on here making think pieces. You know why? They don't even talk. They get on social media and don't even talk. They don't open their mouth. They just look at the camera, make faces, and lip sync. And they got millions of followers, thousands and millions of likes for doing nothing. That's pretty privilege. That's pretty privilege. When you can literally get online and do nothing, and you just do well for doing nothing, you have pretty privilege, right? And that's usually how those girls navigate life. It's just as easy, right? And that's why they ain't nowhere complaining about it, because they live in an easy breezy life. All of the stuff that's being talked about as to the downside of pretty privilege, about women always being jealous of you. you not being able to make friends, men treating you bad. Men to treat anybody bad, right? That has nothing to do with your looks. It doesn't save you from being treated better, and it doesn't stop men from wanting to treat you bad, right? But that can go for any type of woman. Women being jealous of you, are they really jealous of you, or are you still holding on to that thing your mama told you when you was in school that all the girls just was jealous of you, and you still think that to this day? You still believe everybody just jealous of you. Anytime you have any disagreement with women or women just don't like you, you go straight to them being jealous rather than looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing you just might be problematic, right? And that may be the reason why you can't make friends with women is because of your personality and not your looks. At the end of the day, a good personality gonna get you further than them looks all day, every day. And that's just what it is, because when you show up with pretty face, nasty attitude, don't nobody want to do anything nice for you. And I don't care how pretty that face is. I don't care how banging that body is. It's only going to get you so far. You need to stop focusing so much on what you look like and start getting some personality up in that soul.
We're going to talk about something that we as women at times forget to discuss, or maybe on purpose, not sure. But let's get into the video.
We tend to have a lot of conversations about our relationship with men. We tend to have a lot of discourse between us amongst how we get treated in society, from a patriarchal society, from the male gaze, how we benefit, how we don't benefit. We saw videos of discussing pretty privilege. It was a lot of conventionally beautiful women got on TicTok mainly to discuss just the downsides. And while some of these symptoms were part of a bigger, disease that is living in a patriarchal society where women are seen as inferior, and we are sort of treated like a second-class citizen. And if you're, black, or if you're disabled, or if you're fat, there's, other intersections that come into it that make your life particularly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fit into a certain stereotype, there's going to be certain obstacles that you have to navigate. If you were raised thinking that you weren't beautiful, you probably value your personality more. You probably value your skills and all those things that you cultivated to have confidence. Maybe I can be the funniest. If I'm not the most beautiful, maybe I could be the most stylish or the most musically talented, whatever. Fill in the blank for yourself. And a lot of us, we grew up, cultivating these things. And then as we grew up, we kind of grew into our own, right? Like, I know I grew up, like the ugly duckling, stereotype, where I felt like I wasn't as beautiful as like my sister or my, my family, or thinking that there was something wrong with me because my teeth weren't perfect and my skin wasn't perfect and I wasn't the perfect size. But as I grew up and I kind of flourished and grew into my own, I went from not experiencing pretty privilege in the most traditional sense, and having to like fight to find space, to all of a sudden getting treated differently by everybody, men, women, children. Everybody loves beautiful people. And if you're seen as beautiful, people trust you more. People think that you're more disciplined. People think you're more honest. If they see somebody that's beautiful, they think that their life is somehow put together. So because we project all these things onto beautiful women, a lot of times we tend to forget what that kind of does to a person when we assume all these characteristics. Just like in our last video, we discussed hair, and how hair should not define how you're treated and how your character. And the same way, just because somebody's beautiful, you don't know their character.
Right.
They can be the most ugliest person on the inside, or they can actually be beautiful. Like, they're beautiful on the inside and outside.
Right.
And that's okay. So we talk about wanting to decenter men, right?
Yes.
They say, let's not talk about men. Let's focus on ourselves. But this conversation about pretty privilege and like women that were coming on that maybe they weren't traditionally beautiful, they were saying there's no such thing as downsides to beauty privilege.
Right.
They said everything about being beautiful is positive in
Right.
a sense. And the negative aspects that you experience, like sexism and people think you're dumb or whatever. It's just part of being a woman in a male dominated society. So it's like, okay, I personally can say that there's no downsides to beauty privilege, in the sense of I would much rather be beautiful than not. I
Yeah.
think it's very dishonest to say that
We can't deny
oh,
that.
like,
That's
oh, I'm
undeniable.
beautiful, and it's like there's downsides to it, and just like nobody says, so I wish I was not beautiful. Like nobody says that. The opportunities I was able to get from achieving a certain level of beauty privilege helped me navigate relationships better, helped me access opportunities, jobs, like jobs I'm not qualified for, that I would get called for and get hired just because they wanted to see somebody beautiful in that space. But I think the missing part is, how do we treat each other as women?
Absolutely.
How do we treat each other? Forget men. Men are going to be men. And as long as we're dating men, there's a certain dynamic that we have from them. But when we come into spaces where we're encountering each other, like when you come into a space and you see beautiful women, what are we thinking about them? How do we treat other beautiful women or each other just as women in general? Like, and then like let's truly decenter men, and let's bring the conversation back to us, women to women. How do we treat each other, and what does that look like, and are we having an honest conversation about the downsides of beauty privilege? Because I don't think it relates to men.
Right.
It's more related to how we treat each other and how other women would, just the dynamic between us.
Right, yeah, which we tend to shy away from or ignore that it's there. Every time that we speak on beauty privileges, it just seems like, it's something that that there's nothing wrong with it. Like you should almost like stomach being mistreated because you're pretty. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that beauty privilege or looking attractive to a certain person doesn't get me my way or doesn't open up doors that normally wouldn't be open for me. Um, I'm not gonna say that's not, that I like that, and I can't agree. I can't disagree with that statement. But the way women treat beautiful women, because of that, because we're made to be so competitive, right? And that's something that starts at a very young age. So our mother is Ethiopian and our dad is Ugandan, and that's mad mix, But even in that mix, growing up, there was that thing of like, oh, if my hair was like this, but on your skin, or or if you were just a little lighter, if your nose was just a little bit more straight, you'd be more Ethiopian. That complex of like that being fair, having softer hair and softer features accepts you to be beautiful, and that was the beauty standards growing up. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't, ill will of our mother, as she also had to evolve to who she is now.
Right.
But growing up, she, saw that in her community, right?
Yeah.
And that's defined the beauty. Her definition of beauty was screwed because of, not being, I guess, other people that are outside of Ethiopians have different, are seen differently by Ethiopians. And it's not to talk bad about my Ethiopians, because we have our beauty, but we're being real in this conversation that you see it not only just in America, it also exists in other communities and other dynamic of living. And so we experienced a lot of that, like, oh, if you weren't so dark, especially me, like I was always a chocolate babe. And I grew into appreciate and love myself, how I am, how I look. And beauty, I guess, in the eyes of European beauty, I guess I have some features that were maybe a little bit more softer than my siblings, so that was seen as beautiful. But then my siblings got the ugly of being mistreated because their feature was so strong, or they had a wider nose, or a more protruding cheekbone and bigger lips. Like, it's just, to me, it's so insane because it's such a double-edged sword. And it's not something that I want to take lightly, and we need to address this conversation without the men, right? Let's address it to women and how we treat each other because we look a certain way. And
being Abasha is not for the weak. I always tell people that being Ethiopian, East African, especially from my Ethiopian side, Ugandans. I mean, Africans are just blatant,
Very.
especially because things like places like Uganda, like weight gain is not necessarily seen as a negative thing. So they'll be like, "Oh, you're looking very full," and they might mean it in a very positive way, like, "Oh, you're looking very full today." But like, just like, can you not like just commenting on our bodies and the way that we grew up? Our aunties, like she said, viciously comparing us. Saying, "Oh my goodness, like if only she had your hair and you had her teeth," and like, you know how like that mentally really fucks you up as a kid because you're like looking at each other like, "Oh my goodness, like there's something wrong with my hair." You know, my mom she used to call my hair chaka, which means forest, and in Amharic,
4C.
and I had
Wordplay.
I have 4C coarse big hair, and I was just like I felt so ashamed because I'm like my hair is like it's wild. But that same word, chaka, I just loved the idea of it once I embraced my natural hair. I was like, my hair is like the forest. It's like the tree. It literally looks like nature. And I had to transmute that into something that empowered me. But growing up, it like killed me. Like especially just being like, I don't know how to do your hair. I don't know how to manage it. Like get out of my face. Like even though it's not said like when it translates, it doesn't sound. It sounds kind of rude.
Yeah.
But in a sense, it was just them being like they're very honest about if you gain a few pounds, if you're too skinny, oh you need to eat. You need to put some meat on your bones. It's just like that's one thing people don't understand. Like in America, as much as like we are a little more conscious. Like you don't comment on people's body. While we do,
but we just we act on it though.
But I think
it's the same thing.
We're a bit more conscious. Like a mother is gonna be frowned upon for calling her child fat. But like in back home, that may not be seen as negative. That's part of it. Oh yeah, she is fat. Like get her da. So it's like even culturally, growing up being compared, but also just like the women that were supposed to show us confidence and are supposed to feed us and tell us we're beautiful and teach us the different ways that men will look at us. Instead of doing that, they just were agents of patriarchy. So instead of being champions for embracing our differences and just saying you're beautiful the way you are, they were almost like agents against the system that was we were set up. Like you're not set up for success in that. We talk about confidence and like how we all come to it, but some of us, we had to fight for this. Some of us had to really grow into our own. Some of us had to really really do the work to embrace. And I'm not saying, oh, poor me, I had to do the work to be beautiful. I didn't just grow up beautiful. I didn't just wake up beautiful. So poor me. Like, I'm not saying that. Because at the end of the day, because I have all my limbs, I had markers that, that set me up to have this privilege anyway. I was able to achieve it. Like the story may not be the same if I was in a wheelchair and like, like how do you tell somebody in a wheelchair, oh, this is how you're supposed to look?
Exactly.
That's where this is a slippery slope, and how, standards do it does come from somewhere, and you are outed. Like if you're disabled, if you're have all these things, like you are on the outs, because you're at a disadvantage. And so it's like and then because there's some women that maybe they're not necessarily fighting against it, and there's a conversation to be had, right?
Yes.
Like if we are in a position of power as a woman, if you're beautiful, you should be using your privilege to empower other women. You should be using it to open doors and open spaces for people that that can't maybe come in the same way you did,
right?
But in the same breath, it's like in doing so, you have to be comfortable with shifting that maybe one day you're not going to be the peak. One thing that we hate doing is giving up our privileges. White people don't fight racism because it works for them.
Yeah,
they benefit. Skinny people are not going to fight for fat activism because that doesn't benefit them. They live in their world, they get treated better because they're skinny. Shoot, that sounds like a good deal to me.
Right.
So like beautiful women. Okay, so I live in a world where I'm a cookie cutter. I fit all the molds of, attractiveness and accessibility and desirability. So let me just shut up and sit down in the corner and pretend like I don't see what's going on behind me. And that's not okay either.
Yeah.
And it's like, so like that's where we understand that there's accountability that's to be had. But the thing is, the solution is not to bash women of any, like, no matter what their privileges are,
Right.
and assume that they have a certain cushy life.
Right.
Because assuming, I feel like really it does harm women. Like there's been times where I've been really like struggling, but because I looked a certain way, people didn't see that struggle on me.
Right.
And while that was a blessing, it also makes it hard for you to get help in a sense. You know, like just because they're like, oh, you probably have a man that can pay for that, or you probably have somebody that can take care of it. Sometimes you're not in that position.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
or
like,
counting you out. Like,
yeah.
My experience with, recently, just like, not too long ago, was that I didn't get advanced in a salon setting, a salon that I was at. The owner kind of like, at first we were fine. And I feel like once my beauty, she saw that was getting me through some problems. It was almost as if she was out to get me, like to be like that fork in the road for me in my business and succeeding in that. And that was really something that, I mean, I guess I have experienced it before now that I look at it.
Yeah.
But like really to like name it while I was experiencing it was something that I had to like, wow, this is really crazy. Like I've experienced women working against me just because the way I look, or your man likes me, or whatever the case was.
And I want you to also speak, like, I don't want to speak for you, but with that particular instance, so she was hired, she was beautiful from day one. That wasn't the issue. They were fine with you being beautiful. It's when her skills started getting better, and when her talent was actually there, then it's like, oh hell. Like, because when you're beautiful, be beautiful. People like, oh, she's beautiful. She's just an empty shell. People are comfortable with having beautiful women if that's all you do. But don't be beautiful and also
something else.
Be good at what you do.
Yeah.
Have more than 2 brain cells. Actually have a personality. Actually be funny and personable.
Can have an actual intellectual conversation.
That's when it completely triggers people. That's honest. You cannot be not honest about that. Like whatever side of the coin that you're on, like you just cannot be dishonest about that, because you can experience that. Just like if you're black, you understand that, like, you go into certain spaces, and when you're smart or when you speak well, like, because people are so quick to put you in a box, right? So, oh, you're beautiful, I'm gonna put you in this box. In my head, you're in this box where you're beautiful, but you're not threatening, because you can't get my job because I'm still better at it than you. But let me come up and be good at my job too.
Like you can be 2 steps ahead, but not 2 ahead.
Right.
Like I have to be able to catch up to you,
or I have to have a leg up on you.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's, I feel like that your experience with that was that.
Oh yeah.
It's because you were always beautiful, but then your skills were so good, and people and clients were complimenting your skills and saying you were their best.
I was a threat.
Hair cutters, and then her clients were coming to you.
Right. Exactly.
And be honest, that's really like what triggered the situation, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And so, I mean, obviously the environment got toxic, and I dipped. Because I can't do toxicity, not at my grown age. So, but that was something that I experienced, and then it like brought me back to, like, I guess with friends, when you get used for your beauty, like people they never really liked that I had ideas and had values and things that I would talk about. All they cared about was that, oh yeah, let's go out. Are you going to join us? Let's go to like, are you going to join us? Like, are you coming? Just so because I looked a certain way, and so that attracted certain people to us as a group. And so I was, like, you get used.
Right.
You get stomped on, you get abused, but you're supposed to be okay because you're pretty. What are you complaining about?
Right.
You're complaining because you're pretty? Like, that thing, that gaslighting.
Yeah, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
Because it's like, as a beautiful woman, you learn to minimize yourself completely. Whether
dim your light, right?
It's like, when you have a group of girlfriends, like, oh, Mary, like, I've literally had like friends tell me not to dress up. Not even like, and it's like, it's not, that necessarily doesn't have to do anything with beauty, but it just goes to show you that they don't want you to look like, and not look, but like Mary, don't do too much with your outfit today. Like, we're just gonna grab coffee. Like, if I like to dress up, match my freak,
right?
Match my nasty. Don't sit here and tell me to show up in a way I'm minimizing myself, or say like, Mary, don't do a beat today, or don't wear your wig.
Yeah, go
and
casual.
Like, you don't think much of it.
You don't.
You're thinking, oh, they just want us to match, or you're so naive when you're young. You're so vulnerable when you're beautiful. So I'm talking directly to the young girls. You don't have to be young. Like, I'm approaching 30. My sister just hit 30. We're right there with y'all. But I'm just saying, like, at where we are now, I don't care if my beauty is threatening. I'm going to show up completely. But that wasn't always the case. There was a time where I minimized myself to be palatable, to be, be able to be
liked,
fed to you in a spoon.
Yeah, to be liked, to be accepted,
to be accepted, to make other girls feel comfortable.
Yes.
Instead of saying like
why
come to my level,
right?
Like, and then instead of finding other people that were on that level, I stayed with the same friends that kept pulling me down. Like, one thing about when you're starting level up and you're going through this journey of glowing up internally, the level up is what?
Internally.
So it's like whenever you start learning, like your mentality will change. And then so naturally your friend group is going to change also. Don't feel bad about letting go of people. Some people are here for a season. Some people here are for a reason. What I don't know what that's saying, but it's like saying that, hey, like I love I love this group of friends that I had. Maybe y'all went through high school together. Maybe y'all went through college together. And at that point they were like your sister. Like there's people that like I saw as a sister,
right?
That we stopped being friends because we grew apart, and I'm not going to fight it. So we're not all meant to be in each other's life forever.
Yeah.
And as you level up, find other people that are going where you want to go or are where you want to be.
Exactly.
And then you can propel yourself up to their level. If you're going to be with people that are not where you want to be, are where you started, they're not going to ever be satisfied or happy, or y'all never going to mesh well again.
Yeah, because it doesn't, it's not energetically doesn't align with what you have going.
And so it will confuse you. It's like energetically, it will confuse you because you're like, oh, like I leveled up today. I got up, I wore a pretty dress, and I went and I did this, and I went to this side of town, and I met this kind of people. And then it's like, oh, and then my girlfriend, my high school best friend called me, and then I went to her house, and we were talking about her, Dusty for 2 hours over Moscato. Like I'm just saying, like, it's just like
instead of going shopping,
instead of saying like, or so instead of being like, oh, and then so like that brings you right back down, right back where you used to be. Like, dang, I'm here doing the same thing, drinking wine, having like talking about some like that boys again. Like, no, because then energetically it puts you back where you were trying to elevate from.
Exactly.
Like if you're trying to like, live a healthier life, find people that have a healthy life already. You have to find friends. And you can still keep in touch with people from all walks of life, but in your brain, you need to know how to compartmentalize people and have a reason for everybody, just like people have a reason for you.
Right. Don't let the love that you think you have for your friends or whatever it is deteriorate you and stop you from evolving to who you really are supposed to be.
Your full potential.
Full potential. And I mean, I've let go of people, so many friends that I had to just come in truth with myself, and once I did that, I feel like everything shifted. And I'm not even saying that that's probably the only thing that was holding me back, but it did clear a lot of my problems and a lot of reflection of negative things and negative thoughts that were being, coming to me through certain people. So like getting rid of friends like that kind of got rid of a lot of just negativity out of my life.
Yeah. And that's just also just clearing the energy, right?
Yep.
Like you have to clear stagnant energy. Like sometimes your friends are even like literally they're friends with you so they can feed off of you. People wanting to see you and they want to get close to you so they can be you. That's real. That happens. And it's like a lot of times when you are, if you're beautiful and naive, I think that comes back to that. Like when you're beautiful, you have to even more than anybody else know your worth. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you're gonna be called a bitch. So like when you're beautiful and you show up as your most authentic self, you don't water yourself down, you're gonna be seen as the enemy. You're gonna be seen as the bitch. You're gonna be seen as the mean girl. You're gonna be seen as the stuck-up girl. But you know what? If you're beautiful, you have to be that way. Yep, you have to. There's no other option. Because when you're beautiful and sweet and nice, people are gonna take advantage. It's like they can't help it. Unfortunately, that's the kind of society we live in. And I'm so grateful for the genuine friends that I've had along my life.
Absolutely.
Even people that may not be in the same city or country or continent as me, you know who you are. There's just people that I really appreciate and I love. And I'm so happy to have met genuine girls. And when you meet genuine people, hold on to them. And that friendship may not look aesthetically pleasing. Like we talk about, sometimes we just sit there and we become friends with people for the aesthetics. Like, okay, like when we'll show up at a bar and we'll look cute together.
No,
Like,
baby. Quality over quantity.
That. And
Any
then those
day.
are hollow friendships. They're hollow friendships that are built on superficiality, and it's like, and it goes nowhere. Versus when you actually have authentic friendship with people that you can laugh with, cry with, experience new things with,
Share common things with.
share common things with.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the people that will actually, like, you know, people that you, if you can call that person and they can help you, whether that's financially, emotionally, psychologically, like, that's a friend. Whatever they within their means. If there's people that are just calling you when they want to go out, when they want to be seen, because those people actually don't,
or they broke up with their boyfriend.
They don't like you.
Yeah,
if they just want you when they go out.
Right.
If they just want to see you so you can get into a section, or if they just want other men, or they may not invite you to certain places on purpose because they don't want you to be in that space for whatever reason. Like, you have to intuitively trust yourself. I'm so blessed to have a sister and somebody I can bounce ideas off of. Like, I'm not crazy, right? Okay, cool. That was weird, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I should cut it off, right? Okay, like, you know, we can cut things more at the bud, because we're not desperate for friendships. We have each other. Worst case scenario, no matter how much I love and hate her, we have each other. And on top of that, we have made other friendships as well. But it's like, since we don't have that void that we feel like we have to fill, we're not just gonna accept anything.
Oh no.
And it's like we've gone out, and like, the thing is that, like, we've gone out and there's certain space that we've entered and our present is so dominant that girls will stop being friends with us.
Or leave. Or
like, you know, somebody will invite you somewhere and you show up and you have a great time, and maybe it was like a group thing and you met some of their friends, they met, you know, like, and then you go and you're like, hey, thanks for inviting me, I had a great time. Crickets. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, I feel like if I know I showed up, I know I was a good, I was, you know, good vibes. I know I showed up and I was, you know, polite. I respected your home, or I respected your event. But you're so bothered,
right,
by the energy that I presented, that and you don't even want to be friends with me anymore.
Right. And it's not in an egotistical way. It's more of like you genuinely make connection with that person, right?
And it's confusing.
And so, so you confuse yourself and you like go back and forth, but really it's because you brought out the insecurity. Your light brings out the insecurity in others. When you've done the work, when your presence is all in its sense and what it is, and you're so full and happy and you're so content, everywhere you go, you have a presence about you, right? And some call it energy, some call it your light, some call it your shine. Just know that essence of you being right with yourself and connecting with who you truly are and knowing yourself and being authentically yourself is going to always drive out the insecurities and the shadow aspect of other people. Your light is going to bring out the shadows of other people that you encounter. So just simply realizing that avoids a lot of the doubt.
And it doesn't, you don't have to necessarily be like a stunning woman for that to happen.
If
when you know those people, they walk into a room, you can sense that they walked in. Something big came into the room.
Something shifts.
Something comes in. And you're like, something about that person, something about that girl, something about that guy. I know that's that guy. I know that's that girl. Like,
I know that's the one.
And you don't have to necessarily be like the most beautiful person,
right?
But if you have that,
so nasty and so rude.
Haters are our biggest fans.
They're
our biggest fans.
Excuse me. It's so relevant.
Just, you know, sometimes haters are everywhere. Even bugs can
even
be
in
haters.
Nature.
Even bugs don't like to see beautiful women succeeding. You know, it's not easy for us.
This natural sauna, though.
Literally.
I love it.
I'm loving it. Okay. So basically what I was saying, it doesn't always mean, like, that's why I say when you work on yourself and you, like, as a woman, you have that goddess energy, and that comes with connecting with yourself, doing that internal work. We said, what did we say earlier? The glow is internal. When you literally do the work, you're just gonna exude that, and you're gonna look confident. And that's why you see, you know, you can see like a man with a girl, like, oh, she's not all that. Why is he with her? Or like, she's not that pretty. Like, he's so fine. Like, how did he get her? Or, he's so paid. How's that his girl? Like, you'd be surprised. Some women, the power that they hold Like, even if you're not able to see it immediately, you start talking to them. You're like, I get it. I get it. You start hearing about their story. Okay, I see why. You know, and then so you understand that it doesn't all come down to just looking beautiful.
Yeah, beauty is opulence.
Beauty is just part of it. So it's just part of the way we navigate. And as a woman, the most important thing is to really, really, really do that work so that you can walk into any room and own it. Because at the end of the day, I can think I'm the most beautiful thing in the world, but there's another woman that's more beautiful, and that woman is looking at another woman that she thinks is more beautiful. Like, I feel Instagram is like a great way of doing that. Every time I feel bad for looking at somebody, I'm like, I bet I can go on their page and I bet I can find people that they're following that they're probably looking up to. And then, you know, the domino
effect. Goes on.
We all have somebody like, damn, like, you think I'm bomb? Look, she's bomb to me. Like, oh, you know, if you're just depending on how you look, there's gonna be a more badder bitch walking in the next 10 minutes. I trust you. I promise you. And you will never be satisfied.
Nope.
And you will always be looking over your shoulder and being insecure, and that's gonna make you ugly.
Yep.
That's no matter what. You can look as done up as you want. Like, that energy, that stank energy, because you feel like uncomfortable and you don't own your space. Because I can own my space, because even though I'm not the most beautiful person in the room, I know that I'm a great vibe. I'm a dancer. I'm a conversationalist. I'm, you know, like, I have so many things that I can fall back on outside of just, oh, I look good, you know?
Exactly. And you see a lot of beautiful women,
you do,
making some, you know, not so pretty decisions, right? Because of how they feel about each other, themselves, not each other, themselves.
Yeah, ask any man. He'll tell you.
Exactly.
Like, just because a woman is beautiful does not mean she has standards.
Yeah.
Or does not mean anything.
You could look all the 10, you could have the skinniest, whatever, you know, whatever the idea of beauty is, trend is. Right, exactly. Yeah. But you could still be done wrong because of energetically what you carry. And
you're a magnet.
And you're you're energetically a magnet to bullshit. It doesn't matter how pretty you are.
That's why you see beautiful women with narcissistic men all the time. And that guy will have her in a choke hold, or even in narcissistic friendships. Because we can be like, you know, because, you know, we are trying to just keep this centered to us here. Like, you know, even you can find narcissistic people friendships. Like, just because you have to vet your girls. Friendships, you have to vet them.
Just like how you vet your dates.
Yeah. Like, if I meet you and you're not give me the energy that I would give you, or the energy I would expect from a friend, I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to give you excuses. Why would I give you excuses when I wouldn't give a man excuses?
And not to be critical or, you know, say it in a way where,
but you know,
real. But that's the only way you're going to evolve and grow as a person. It can be dangerous. It can be so dangerous.
If you don't know, and if you're getting taken advantage of,
like, relationships,
you're vulnerable.
And, like, having that very, like, private, not even private, what is the word here? The intimate relationship that you have with your best friends. Like, you don't want to have somebody
secret enemies.
That could really, like, they know everything about you, and they could use that against you,
and they plan on it.
And exactly,
that's why you take it slow, just like with friendship. Don't sit there and divulge everything. I'm gonna give you my deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah,
no, that's why I always say, don't be thirsty for anything. Like, and energetically, you know, that's how you wouldn't even attract it. You what do they say? Like, you know, if you want, like,
what you radiate is what you're going. Yeah, what
and so if
you are, like, you attract what you
friends, and you're desperate for people to call you their friend and call you and be in a group. Oh, you'll find yourself in a group and in friendships. But then you know, it's not worth it. The damage that could be done, it's not worth it. It's much better to do the work on the forefront than to heal and be talking about your healing journey at the back end.
Exactly.
Because you've been done wrong by everybody under the sun, and now you're heartless and you don't trust nobody, and you know, it's just you and your dog. And that's it.
Yeah,
like,
same trauma and same.
And then you're so closed off that you don't even give chances to genuine people that care, people that love you, because you're so hurt. So don't wait for yourself to be broken. Don't wait for people to do you wrong.
To leave.
If you've had if you've had a great experience, and you've had genuine friendship and all that stuff, that's amazing. Still work on what you got to work on. Be prepared to kind of not lose people, but be prepared for seasons to change. And there may be times where your support system may not be as big, where your friends may not be as close, where you may not be feeling as confident. And if that does happen, you need to have that relationship with yourself, and that's why it's important.
Exactly.
Because even like, I know, even with me, I know I have my sister, I know I have my mother, and I know I have, like, certain people in my life that I know I can depend on. At the end of the day, I still need to make sure that if I could still be good alone by myself.
Exactly. Like, that's very important. Being your own best friend, loving your own company, and loneliness is really an illusion. I think we mentioned that in previous videos. It's not really real. You're never really alone. You have the source that's within you, so you can always confide in that. You know, talk to whoever you believe in, whoever you call God, that source that's within you, and you know that's your best friend. You know, and you will never be shunned from that. And be your own. Be your own. Just be your own best friend. If you don't say things to other people that are ugly because you make somebody else feel bad about themselves, why are you saying it to you? You know, be gentle and take your time, vet their people, friendships, not just men, and also friends, and just know that certain things and certain people that might seem like they're against you, it's just their own reflection of how they feel about themselves inside. And so you shouldn't judge that, because that's none of your business, but you should definitely be aware of that and navigate your way through work, whether it be work situation or life or whatever it is. Just learn how to have that awareness and move with that confidence, and never feel less than what you are. And people will try to dim your light so hard. Like I've had a couple of people try to like humble me almost. Like, yeah, girl, you ain't all that though. Like, look at this person that looks this way,
try to find flaws.
And I'm like, okay. But like, and I know I'm not that, and that's not it. But being full and feeling good and being complete with yourself, it's such a threat to other people being forced to do the same.
And they can't get to you, because if you were not confident and they had said that, say you only depended on your looks, and they tell you, oh, well, you're not all that, you can be like, damn, well, I'm not, like, versus saying like, okay, I don't gotta be. That's not my number one prerogative, is to look aesthetically pleasing to your eye, like,
and that can't only be the only thing you have going for you. Because at the end of the day, that could change. That's not sustainable, to be honest.
So and with that too, like when you said, what you touched on just now, saying that like if somebody's like, that's how I transmute it. Like if I go into a room and I'm like, hey y'all, how's it going? Nobody says anything. That happens.
Which happens all the time.
That happens. I just say, oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, do I smell?
I must look extra good today. I must look extra good today. Or like, say somebody's being like rude, or a girl's being mean. I'm like, oh, she must be having a hard day. It's okay. I look good. I feel good. I'm ready for my day. But you cannot depend on other people. Like that's like, and that helps you feel like, instead of being like everybody's against me, you can just be like, oh, she must be having a bad day. I hope her day gets better.
Okay. Literally. And just carry on.
Energetically, it doesn't make you feel like, oh, everybody's against me. Nobody said hi to me. Like, okay, like you have to have a backbone when you look a certain way and when you're navigating spaces. And that's not just for beautiful women. That's for women, period. You have to have that and not take things so personally, because we are people pleasers by nature, and we're like, okay, like
made to be that way.
I need to make sure everybody in this room is happy and satisfied.
Cook, clean, sweet,
but you just do a twirl.
Learn how to twerk. Like
if somebody's acting a certain type of way, let them. That's none of your business, and that's something that's given me a lot of it's giving me a peace of mind. To just go into a space and don't take things personally. That's one of the 4 agreements, not taking things personally.
Good book.
Good book. So it's like okay, I won't take it personally, because it really doesn't have anything to do with you.
It never does.
So they're triggered because you look great and they don't want to say hi to you. So,
or it could just simply
just really be that they're having a bad day.
Exactly.
we can't read into it.
Like, people have bad days.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Read into it. Maybe they didn't hear you say hi. Like, like don't.
So that's why validation, seeking validation from other people, is
always gonna.
You can't rely on that.
You can't.
And it's very human though. It doesn't matter how much work you've done. It's very natural.
We want to be accepted.
To want that, to be accepted in a group. To find our community, whether it be online or in person. We want that, because the human experience, it's experience of pleasure, laughter. Being alike with other people that you meet, and how amazing is that? I'm not the only one that thinks that way. Like, that is so cool. That's so dope. So yes, we're gonna naturally want to experience that, but you have to also realize, baby, like, it's okay. Like, if I don't get treated this way, or people might see how I am and how I present myself like a problem, that is not my problem. I'm gonna own that space with whatever ounce of energy in my body that I have, and be completely zen with that. Be assured of that, and be like, it's fine. That's okay. And you have to make peace with that. You have to know, you have to really know that people are just living in their own world as well. And what they feel inside is also being reflected on their outside. So you really just have to give them the grace too, right? But we do have to be truthful, right? However, we have to be truthful,
right?
And come and have these conversations as women, and really cut into the truth of why we treat each other that way.
I'm like, I feel like don't be naive, but don't be a nihilist. Don't be so don't get blocked up. That's why I said, when you don't take things personally, when you're able to still keep your energy light, it does open energetical space in your life to meet people. And when don't rush it, just like you can't rush the perfect relationship or the perfect job or whatever. Some things take time, and as they should. And it's like, you may not meet that friend or that person right now, but be open. Just because you meet somebody, don't be like, oh, they're gonna see me this way. Like, don't have your guard up. That's for anything. If you were hurt in a relationship, don't carry it on. Do that work. Heal from things. That way, when you can meet other healed women that also are there, and I know it's out there because we're looking for it. There's women out there that are looking for friendships. Let's be friends. I would love that. And
in the words of Gazelle Monette, when you heal, you feel lighter. When you're lighter, you heal, or something in that cadence.
But you have to be light to attract that like energy, because you wouldn't want to meet a bitch with a bunch of trauma anyway. Like, I'm not saying, and so it's like, and it's out there, it's possible. Like I said earlier, I have some great friends. I have a friend and my sister. I have even my nieces. They're away. They're kind of a friend because they tease me and they keep me humble, and just like a friend. And I know it's coming from a place of love. And like, even though they're so mean
really
sometimes.
To piggyback on that, it's like my childhood, my 6-year-old self right now. It's like I'm sitting in the sun and getting tan, baby. Right? That to me is healed.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because I know, we're cheer me on. Thank you so much. Maybe they're not hating. Maybe they're cheering us on. They're not hating, but like,
from a girl that was told, stay
out the sun consistently, to where it made me want to do things to lighten me a shade or two, for me to sit in the sun and bask in this beauty of nature and get these downloads and really speak my truth, and that someone can find that beautiful. That to me, baby, is healed. You know what I mean?
We love a full circle moment. Exactly.
And then how do you feel like your healing is when you like, what's that moment
for me? It's because you fluctuate. I change my style, I change my outfit, I change my weight. So for me, because I have that foundation, and I have built myself up on things that are not necessarily just my beauty, it doesn't matter. Whenever I'm 80 and not seen as the standard of beauty, like, I'm still gonna think I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. Whenever I'm 30 pounds heavier, I'm still thinking I'm the most beautiful woman than when I'm, at the goal weight that society says I should be at. So they really just be affirming. They really just be the universe saying, I hear ya.
For real.
But it's like, for me, that's the beauty and the full circle moment, is that, I don't let my position or my beauty define how I treat other people. I know what it's like to be on the other side. And because I can give that grace, because I have that firsthand experience. I know how hard it can be to feel like you're ugly. I know how disappointing it feels to feel like you can't achieve certain things, and those things may seem like they're out of reach for you. I know you may think like, I will never be where I want to be, but I just want you to know that it's not a race, it's a marathon.
Absolutely.
Is what they say.
Race
there's
like
steps.
a turtle.
Everybody has a goal. I have a goal for myself. Like, you might be looking at me and saying, hey, she has it all. But I have certain things that I would like to get to before I feel like, okay, look, I could feel like I have it there. Just like you have steps to get to as well. Just because you want to get to step 10 so bad, you can't jump to step 10. You have to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have to. And
there's a level.
There's levels, and literally levels to it. And it's like you can't rush it. Just like you can't start your freshman year and graduate that year. You can't. You have to go through your your steps.
stages.
You have to
Yeah. Your
graduate. Okay, you have
seasons.
to heal from this things and go from that.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, and you being ugly now, like, and you working on things that are gonna bring you, like, bring you people and friendships that have nothing to do with your beauty. It's just going to be that when you achieve that confidence, because like we said, a beautiful woman to me is a woman that knows herself, that's confident, that has boundaries, that has standards. That's very beautiful to me. That's the energy that shows up and shows out and stops everything that's happening in a room. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen women that look any type of way because they have confidence, because they believe in themselves, achieve things. So there's no excuses, even for you. There's no excuses for anything. And everything else will come in time. Give yourself time, give yourself grace. Leveling up is possible. If maybe there's things that you neglected or let go of things in the past and that you want to work on, whether it's maybe your weight, maybe your hair, your skin, anything. I have things I would love to work on. It's like just every day, just take it step by step and have that energy of gratitude. Wake up and look at the mirror and say, I'm beautiful. Like, just say, I'm so gorgeous. Like, you see how perfect my eyebrows are? You see how my skin is glowing today? Like, affirmation. You have to be your biggest fan and your best friend.
Absolutely. That's how I got to where I'm at. I think I say that a lot, but seriously, truthfully, you have to speak it, and then that's how you program a lot of those childhood coding or trauma, whatever it is, and it's literally all for you. Those things they were never meant to tear you down, but get to the very moment in your life where you're like, dang, I have achieved so much by myself. And the way I think, the way I move, like, that's amazing. That's definitely something I should really thank myself for and celebrate. Celebrate yourself in that moment and really, like, see how far you've came. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, to be honest, honey. People are going to talk about you at your wedding, and people are going to talk about you underneath the casket or in the casket as well. So, like, you just have to do you for you.
Yeah. And even like, with, like, say, like, even my sister, you've always been beautiful. Like, my sister is always, I'm biased, of course, but she's always been that girl.
But I was not like nice.
No, she's always been that girl. Don't let her lie to you. And I've seen people try to tear her down. I've seen her fight her demons. I've seen her grow, and I'm so proud of where she's at. I'm so proud of the woman my sister is, and I think she's the most beautiful that she's ever been, because internally she's a beautiful person. She's beautiful on the inside, and that's and in the past, you doesn't mean like you can go back and be like, damn, at 21 I was like itty bitty bomb no, but now at 30
tears,
you're the most beautiful, and I can say that genuinely because of the person you are and the work that you've done and how you exude that and how you support me and how we can be there for each other. That's beautiful to me.
Thank you. And in exchange for being my little sister, she has showed me so many things, and that you could be more than just how you look. Like, you can read. It's cute to read. It's cute to research. It's good to know things. It's good to evolve and, like, perfect things and seek out other things and other qualities about yourself that are attractive as well. And so I learned a lot from her, giving you the flowers right back. And for you also to learn, you're such a good learner. You let me, as a big sister, tell you when things are not the way they are, and you take them very well. And then she's also showed me a way of how words and communicating is so essential in relationships. So it's definitely a teamwork. It's a team effort.
There's a reason why we came into this world to share this experience together.
I know that's right.
And we complement each other so well in that aspect. And it's like we didn't always understand it. Sometimes it was friction.
Oh yeah.
But it's now more than ever we see why it had to be this way, and we wouldn't have it any other way. With that being said,
I think that's all the notes that we had. Yep, wrapping it up.
That's it. Thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of
Thank you guys.
Yes. And yes, I hope, like, thank you for tuning in to the end.
Yeah.
And if you've been watching all of our videos, thank you so much for the support. And just share this with your friends, Share this with your mom, your auntie. Just share this with anybody. I think everybody can use this message, and we could all, across generations, find something we can use from this, and as a mother, an aunt, a sibling, a sister, a wife, a girlfriend, a fiance, there's so much that you can take, and we can make this world better for ourselves. We can do it. Like we are in this era.
Literally.
It's our era.
We're
women.
equipped it.
Like we're shifting here. This thing to it'll be a matriarchy before you realize it. Like, and that's on that's on the future as female.
That's on everything.
So with that being said, thank you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, y'all.